All right. Welcome to the first stream since the Juniper Dev Very Serious Game Jam. It feels like it's been a minute. In reality, it's only really been a couple days. But just in case some people are seeing this and assuming it's a separate series of streams, because I don't think we're going to get everything done today. Um, back in. I already forgot the dates. I signed up for the very serious Juniper Dev Game Jam back on June 19th. That was when the start of this event began. And the theme was Spin to Win. We had 7 days to work on the project, and unfortunately, we didn't quite meet the deadline. So I just wanted to go through a little. We're going to call it a nostalgic trip, but I don't know, because I don't know what else to call it. But basically, just some. We're going to start the stream going over some of the things we did to get this project up and running to what it is today. Some of the clips I shared on Twitter that maybe the Twitch and YouTube crowd weren't able to see. And then we'll get into what I've done since then and what's the goal moving forward. Because I do have one of those now, which is kind of nice. So, starting off small, what was the concept, right? Well, as you can see, I had a lot of different ideas on what kind of game to make with Spin to Win. First idea was always Beyblade. So glad we didn't do that. But what I ultimately landed on was a game where your abilities are decided by spinning a wheel. Each ability has limited uses, encouraging the player to spin the wheel to maintain momentum. Now, on paper, you're probably thinking like, oh, roguelike stuff. No. I didn't do that. I should have done that. I didn't do that. Instead, we control a fighter that goes through linear levels to fight. Well, ignore this. Ignore that. Just enemies to get to the end. This gameplay loop was inspired by a really niche game called Kamen Rider Memory of Heroes. I'm just a big fan of tokusatsu in general, so when I played that game, I was like, man, I wish more games were like that. And, well, none came out, so I figured, why not make one? Now, the first couple days was spent concepting, writing this document about what does the player have for offensive options, defensive options, how does the wheel work, what are the enemies like, is there a final boss, and then what are the abilities? So I landed on, basically, when you start the game, you're just a dude. You don't really have a lot of strength or power. You basically do 1 damage. And all you can do is shove the enemies back to keep yourself alive. This charges your wheel that you can use to transform to the other forms. Now, the forms I came up with were very heavily inspired by 2000's Kamen Rider Kuga. It's just my favorite season of Kamen Rider. And he has different forms. So I took inspiration from that. So we have Pegasus form, which specializes in ranged projectiles. I didn't actually end up using projectiles, but we'll get to that. But it is a ranged class, and the ultimate is that he throws a grenade in the air. We have Titan form, which is just tank. He's just got a big old sword, does a lot of damage. And then we have Mighty form, which is your basic like boxing form, nothing too crazy with that. So after the concepting was done, I drew concept images for the ability wheel. And I don't think I have a copy of the original wheel saved. Oh, I do. Hold on. Let me drag that to my folder here. This is the wheel that defined the project. It's very primitive. But it got the idea down, and so I started developing the game based on this concept here. So once that was done, it was time to draw, the characters and start getting them modeled and whatnot. So first thing I did was I modeled our base dude. Here he is. um, the wonderful part about this project was, aside from the hair, the entire model was basically used for every other character and form for the rest of the project. So it was a good base to work off of. Sorry, I got some coffee here. I've been trying to drink it all for like the past 20 minutes, but I'm a very slow drinker when it comes to hot drinks, so I'm trying to drink it before it gets stale. But yeah, this is our base dude. I don't have a name for him. I didn't have a name for everything until the end of the project, even then. And we'll come back to what we ended up landing on, kind of. But yeah, I didn't even put the concept art. Yeah, here's the concept art we started off with. Here's Dude. Here's Mighty Form. Here's the Pegasus form. And here's the Titan form. These are super, super simple designs, but they kind of just stuck. Not in how blocky they were, but with how simple the designs were. It saved time on modeling, and it also meant that I didn't have to worry about adhering to too many restrictions in terms of the designs of the characters or how they need to be modeled. Would it have been cool to have the time to make an actual detailed toku suit? Probably would have been really cool, but I didn't have that time. So anyway, those suits turned into these models here. So here's our Mighty form. Here's our Pegasus form. And here's our Titan form, as well as our dude. Not very, like, detailed or impressive, but they're kind of nice. They turned out really well, all things considered. But that took like 3 days. I drew a concept image for the wheel on day 1. Day 2, I drew the character designs and modeled just the dude in the tuxedo. You'll see in those notes here, I tried to rig it to Mixamo. Didn't end up doing that, but we'll get there. Actually, we'll get there right now. So I have a VR motion capture suit that I've been wanting to use. I just didn't know how. This jam was the best opportunity I had to exercise those tools and figure out how they worked. So I went ahead and did some mocap animation work for the forms without knowing how to import them, by the way. I just kind of was like, I'll record it now and figure it out later. Not my best plan, but, here's a little sample of how that turned out. Honestly, for being a cheap VR motion capture suit setup, it actually worked really, really well. The only real downside to it, here, I'll keep this on loop while I talk. The only downside to the equipment that I was using is that I didn't have the elbow expansion. So any nuances that came from bending my arms was just completely lost. And it sucked, if I'm going to be honest. There are some animations that I thought came out really nice, but were immediately ruined once they were in the game. Or not ruined, but they certainly don't capture the magic. Anyway, this is when I modeled all the other armor pieces. We saw those pictures earlier. Let's see. That was day 1, 2, 3. 2? I can't count. Day 1, day 2. Okay. So day 3, I finally figured out how to rig all the animation work to our models. So these animations now had to fit these models. Now, originally, what I did was I took it to Blender, did all the weight painting and whatnot, and I exported it as an FBX because Unreal only really recognizes FBX files. Oh, sorry, I'm speaking out of order. At first, I saved these mocap animations as FBX files. Turns out the motion capture software I was using doesn't like doing that at all. Most of the animations were unusable. And for context, I was recording all of these motion capture animations in my office, on the carpet, including animations about getting knocked down. It was a little painful, but then I remembered I had a stunt mat for when I was first looking into this motion capture stuff, so the second session of animation work wasn't that bad. I saved all the mocap animations as BVH files, which is apparently the standard for motion capture animation data, and then apply to the models, save as FBX. So I might make a video on that pipeline someday, because like it's a lot easier than you would think, but at the same time, it's not something I see a lot of people talk about. So anyway, I then imported all the models and animations into Unreal, which meant that day 4 was the day I started actually programming things. So in the 8-day game jam, day 4 was when I actually started working on the game itself, which wasn't great, but we did get a lot of good stuff going here. To summarize these notes in a short video, I uploaded this to Twitter on the 24th, so maybe not this day, but the next day. Or maybe I'm just bad at reading dates, who knows? Okay, that's just the wrong video. Where's the right video? Oh, I don't see the right video. Oh, where did it go? Hold on. I can find it. Let me just go to Twitter. I haven't gone to Twitter on this PC before, so this is kind of going to be interesting. The real question is it going to just let me jump in? Alright, cool. We're not going to use Twitter for this whole thing. I just wanted to show you the one video. Go to media. Nope. Come on, over here. So, at the end of that day, I showed off the animations working in Unreal. And something that's probably immediately apparent to people who know game dev is that these animations are kind of just moving, but the camera isn't. And that's because when I mocap these animations, I didn't apply root motion, which is basically when the pelvis is fixed in one space so that the animation doesn't wander across the area away from the player's actual coordinates. Which was unfortunate, because I didn't know how to fix this at the time, and I was worried I was going to have to do another session of throwing myself around for animation work. Luckily, I did figure it out the very next day. I found a very, very brief tutorial that was just like, yo, there's a thing that lets you fix the, let's not have that pop up, thank you. Anyway, I found a way to make the animations rooted, and so we got this Twitter video here where I show the light attack combos working with the animations, and this is also when I got the wheel implemented, which was a pretty big achievement in this project's development because I genuinely didn't know how to do this. Originally, I was going to use Unreal Engine's widget blueprints, which allows you to make user interfaces for this kind of stuff. There were just two downsides with this. One, widgets are not made to do fancy stuff like that. It's meant to be a way to interface with menus, and any nuances that you can develop with it are more so just like tricking the engine. And unfortunately, I didn't know how to trick the engine into spinning and then detecting what it landed on. So what you're seeing there is not a widget, but a 3D actor, just with collisions disabled and lights affecting the world. And you can kind of see that in this portion of the video right here when I spin the wheel. You can see the lights are affecting the floor and even the character right before they transform. So to do that, all I really did was take 4 static cube meshes, assign them tags, put lights on them, and then added a 5th cube at the very top, you can see there. And the top, when it stops spinning, will ask, which cube are you overlapping? And that will decide what form you transform into. It was a little bit silly, but, you know, it works. And then as for the melee combo system, I essentially just diced up the combo animations into anime montages, which is just Unreal's way to make animations that have authority over blueprints. Hold on, I'm gonna sip my coffee. Oh, it's a good thing I finished that when I did. That was starting to get stale. Anyway, I divided the animations into animation montages, so that way I could control how blueprints are affected by the animations. Then I just made it to where when you press an input, there's a point in the animation where it applies the damage. As you can see with the spheres, they don't appear right away. They appear when the player reaches a point in the animation. Yeah, and then there's just another tag in there called combo reset. So if you let the attack animation go too long without another input, your combo just stops and you're back to the first swing of the animation. Nothing crazy there. It's really nothing that nuanced. I'm sure people do this all the time with their melee games, but it was fun to kind of feel it out and be correct about some of the assumptions I had about how to make this system. Emphasis on some, but you know, it was something cool. And then for the transformations themselves, each of these suits are not individual models. They are actually a collection of static meshes. So if we pull up our character here, So what I did to make the transformations work is I have the player's base model, and it comes with a material or texture of just a guy in a business suit. Then when he transforms, his hair is replaced with the helmet. The suit is replaced with a new material for the undersuit, and then the invisible static meshes of the torso, gauntlets, knuckles, shins get populated. There's definitely better ways to do this, but I was crunching, so I just went with a system that I was familiar with. Anyway, I wasn't happy with how this wheel looked, and also it's just, I grew up watching Kamen Rider. There's always some kind of flair with the transformations. So, the next day I made that my mission to learn how to do something like that, including, you know, getting other assets created. But the very next day, I uploaded this Twitter video, which showed the implementation of not just the enemies, but also the new transformation sequence, which, honestly, it was a little bit of work to figure out if this was going to even work in the first place. I had to mocap a new animation for the transformation pose, which you can see here. Then I had to literally go frame by frame to find the perfect moment to make the wheel appear and spin. And then, of course, you know, find a way to make the cameras cinematic. Now, Unreal Engine has cinematic tools built into their system, but I wasn't ready to learn all just yet. So instead, what I did for this trick was I slowed down global time to be 1% speed and made the player move 10 times faster to compensate. And then I had an invisible camera arm in front of the player, and when they transform, the camera jumps to that arm instead of on the third-person arm. It's a little bit silly, but honestly, it worked so well. I'm really happy with how it looks in this video. So it was cool. So I mentioned doing the, transformation animation. I also did all the enemy animations for like the basic enemy grunts you saw in the background of that clip, as well as the motion capture for the final boss. Not that I was sure I was going to get him in time, but I really wanted to have it in case I could. So that was a couple hours of throwing myself around a little bit. I then, as I mentioned, made the enemies, I tied their animations to their behavior, mentioned everything here, and then I did try to start adding particle systems to the hero character, but I was only able to do it for the Pegasus form, which again, particles at the end of the gun make it look like it shoots. Particles when it hits the enemy makes it look like they got shot. It wasn't anything complicated. The final day of the jam was where all the crunch really came into play, and honestly, I can let the video speak for itself with this one. We have this video here that looks great and all, pretty impressive. That looks like a lot of work already. And then there's, oh, it's not gonna let me do videos? Okay, whatever. But then there's this video. And you can see there's already so much going on visually that I don't even know how I was able to do all this so quickly. And somehow I still missed the deadline. I was waiting for the game to export when the deadline crossed. So I filmed all this, I think, an hour after the deadline closed, just to show, this is what I got done in the time frame given to me. I was able to get a health bar going. In the middle there is your transformation belt's charge. It generates 1 per second, and then 1 per enemy hit with a light attack, and 5 for every enemy hit with a heavy attack. So you have a way to charge your next transformation through your combos. On the right-hand side are your suit's batteries. Basically, the longer you're in your suit, the more the battery, not more than battery drains, but the battery drains over time. And the intention was when you use your ultimate, your suit's battery drains to 0. So you want to time the use of your battery drain to when you have enough charge to transform one more time. But again, it wasn't enough. I even modeled this room, which is literally just 5 cubes slapped together with some textures and lights. I think there's 5 lights in that whole room. It's kind of funny. So what have I done since the game jam, right? Well, truth be told, I was a little bit sick after the game jam, so I didn't do a whole lot. Oh, sorry, I also did the boss. I did actually implement the boss, but I didn't record him on the final day. My brain was not working. But today is the 29th. Yesterday on the 28th, I spent the last 3 hours of my day before bed working on the game some more. So I added particles to the transformation sequence. I fixed some of the jankiness that came from the melee combat. I nerfed the hitboxes, so that way players weren't hitting enemies that were behind them or right next to them. And then I fixed so many bugs. I kid you not, around here in the bug fix list, I was like, okay, it's time for bed. It is time to just record a quick short and just, put it out on Twitter so people can see that I am working on the game and look how much it's improved. And every single time I would hit record, I would run into a bug. It was so frustrating. I think I spent an hour just fixing bugs. And then once that was done, I spent 10 minutes editing a quick short. So let me pull that up for those of you who haven't seen it. So obviously we have our little transformation sequence. The lights were toned down quite a bit so you can actually see the squares on the belt. You can see the particle effects for the Titan form are a little bit cleaned up. Titan form's ultimate is a time stop, or not time stop, but time slow. And you can see, boom, normal speed. Pretty cool. This is where I implemented Mighty Form's ability. I had to buff it quite a bit. It felt weak, but it's much better now. And then Pegasus form here. Honestly, the best part about Pegasus is that he plays Keep Away. His ultimate is so random, it doesn't quite work out as well as I would like it personally, but I'm sure there are people who will like the idea of hitting ultimate and not knowing if it's going to kill everybody or just kill like one or two. It's basically just a randomized AoE. And while I was saying all that, final boss, some elements of the final boss were already implemented when I was done with the game jam. I'm pretty sure his intro cinematic was already there. Yeah, I didn't change too much about the boss fight. It's basically been all there, When the player spawns in the final boss arena, the boss gets a cool little cinematic. Then the boss has attacks with particle effects, so that way you can see where the range of his attacks are. He has a 3-hit light combo attack string and then 1 heavy attack. And I did that because the basic enemies only have a single hit light attack with a long wind up, so having the boss be very similar to the player just sounded really cool. I also, before the end of the game jam, added a defeat cinematic for him, which is in this clip. What's left to do with him is pretty much just have a game over screen for when you beat him, and then the boss will basically be done. I don't think there's much else I can really do short term to make it like any more fun to play, while still being representative of my skills during the game jam, which is ultimately the point of the next couple dev streams here, is just get this to a playable state so I can release it for everyone to play. At least that's what I was going to restrict myself to. I remembered that I actually have a Steam developer account. I think I got it back in 2023 when I was first thinking about getting into game development. And I didn't do anything with it, but I did already pay for I think it's called like an app slot or something like that, which basically means you can upload one project on Steam. I think I'm going to polish this up and release it as a free product on itch, but also on the Steam platform, because I do think that what's here, while jank, is fun, and it ultimately just needs to be polished up, given a little bit of content, and it'll be basically good to go. So hopefully with, I want to say 1 to 2 weeks of development, we can get this polished up to a decent state that people will be happy to, play it for a little bit, enjoy it for an afternoon, and then just remember it as kind of like a fun little indie dev project. And I can use this as just kind of like a baseline for my projects moving forward. Maybe a touch of hit stop. Ooh, hold on, let me write that down, Awen. Let me write that down. You hear my pen clicking? Maybe not. Hit stop. Cool. One of the other things I want to do, and I tried to take a photo of my notebook. I kid you not. I think I mentioned this on my stream Friday, but even when I'm at work, I can't help but think about this project. And even though the game jam is over, it still holds true. So here's a photo of what I drew in my notebook today. It's a storyboard for an updated transformation sequence. Does it make sense to do this? Probably not, but I would like to add some more cinematic flair to the transformation sequence somehow, some way. Preferably with the camera. I'd like to have it move and maybe even have like a finished transformation pose, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I'm still in the middle of making sure we're bug free. And the one thing I haven't tested, and I don't even think I brought this up before, this game has controller support. Like if I go to the project settings, assuming my laptop doesn't die on me, go to input. All of the buttons are tied to some gamepad input. Just needs the magical girl transformations. Honestly, anyone, it's not that far off that truth. But yeah, I actually haven't even tested if the controller support works as intended. So before we go exploring, what other fixes need to be put in place before we add new features. Oh, sound design is the other thing we need to work on. For your viewing pleasure and my sanity, before the stream, I went ahead and stripped out all sound effects from the project because none of them were good and we all knew it. But anyway, I'm gonna grab my Xbox controller and we can test how well this is working. Unreal has really good controller support, so I don't think we're gonna have any issues, but I'd rather learn about them now than find out about it later. There we go. That's English for you. Alright, so I don't know why, but Windows really doesn't like using USB for my Xbox controller. So I have a Type-C plug? So that way we can test the controller support. So let me plug that in. This goes right here. And the other end of the cable, this is a really long cable because it was originally for my VR headset. Come here. Alright. Controller is plugged in. Xbox controller is on. Now we can test this. Input device has been connected. Good, good, good. Alright, right stick is working. Oh, it's inverted. Okay, movement controls are good. How about light attacks? There we go. Dodging? Dodging is good. I forgot what A is. What does A do? Evidently A does nothing. Oh no. Heavy attack? Okay, Y is heavy attack. What's right bumper? What's right trigger? What's left bumper? Oh, left bumper's transformation. Okay. Oh, I got hit during my transformation. How rude. Oh, and I landed on myself again. Okay, I need to build meter. I want to build meter so I can test if the ultimate button works. I think the ultimate button might be tied to right bumper, because right bumper didn't do anything. Oh my god, the camera controls. App. A for anticipate what being handed to you. Okay. Transform! Are you serious? Okay, that's the other thing I hate about recording for like the Twitter highlight videos. Every single time I would try to randomize the transformation, I would almost always get the base form. So I'm honestly considering going back to the original like wheel design where the base form wasn't even on there. Are you serious? What is my luck? One time when I was trying to record a progress video, I ended up spinning base form 4 times in a row. I was so upset. You should have heard me that night. I was in a call with my buddy Joe, and all he heard was, "God damn it." Oh, that's not good. No. Or remove the possibility of getting the one you are using. That's something I should probably do. Anyway, let me just cheat, just so we can make sure ultimates are bound to a keybind real quick. Alright. Oh my god, the inverted controls are so bizarre. Cool, cool. Alright, right bumper. It's not right bumper. Oh god. What's the keybind? Right trigger? Left trigger. Right stick, left stick. Um, A. A is ultimate. Am I insane? Also, might add a different seed for your RNG. That one is randomed? Oh, it's like barely random, you mean? Yeah, I can see that. Okay, let's unplug my controller. Oh, you mean like add a like remove the RNG? Or what is it? Random not. I'm sorry, Awen. I need small boy terms. What are you trying to say? Controllers put away. We'll fix the controller bindings later. I don't want to work on it. Okay, so I like the idea of making sure we don't land on the same one twice, which is going to require us to go to the wheel actor here. Here we go. So when it's finished, it checks overlapping actors to see if it has the component tag. Dumb joke. Not is abbreviated to nt. So an incorrect way to say not random is randomed. Ah, I see. Honestly, I do like the idea of removing the randomness. And just having the animation be an animation. Especially since, again, Memory of Heroes is like the big inspiration for this game, and Memory of Heroes has a great system for it. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of it. Let's see, Memory of Heroes. What if I type in wheel? This is a pretty good image. Can I open this image in a tab? That's certainly a way of doing it. I don't know what it's doing. There we go. So, can I zoom in this at all? Like, this is so tiny. Whatever. You can see that there's a top, down, left, right on this one. So I think having that kind of an option would be cool. It's a shame that I do want to move away from, spinning the wheel, considering how that was the theme of the jam and whatnot, but I do think it's way more fun to have control over what forms you turn into as well. I've played quite a bit of character action games and other like Henshin hero type games, and honestly, it's great to have that option. Maybe we just have the spinning thing be an animation, and we can just set the index for what the coordinates will be when it finishes that spinning. So to set that up, we're gonna need a way for the player to choose what form they're about to change into. So that might require a new widget. So how about we just set that up for now? Because I don't know of any other bugs at the moment. Actually, I can check. Hold on. We'll just call this transformation. I cannot spell transformation. As for the seed, I mean there's usually a starting value you can add to a random generator that changes how it randoms, like the seeds in Minecraft World Gen. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I haven't really messed around with like setting stuff like that up before though, so it'll be fun to figure that out. I mean, we can create an array of, what are we operating on? Just a matter of setting it up, really. Like we can maybe change this to be a rotator. And then basically we'll have this event have an input for for like an index. And then that index will be called upon after the spinning is done to show the form the player is selecting, or something like that. There's ways to go about it. I just need to set up the functionality, really. Maybe we can just add an add an input here. Hence an index. And then we can just set that value here instead of setting the value at the end of the transformation sequence. So let's go get a canvas panel here. And then just for placeholder's sake, add an image here, center it, and let's get our, no? What did I call it? Oh, there it is. Maybe go 500 by 500. Set that in the middle here, like so. Then we'll just have that be kind of like a pop-up when the player holds the transformation button, and then they can flick the right stick in the direction they want to go. That could be something cool. And then maybe we can even display their battery values across each one, which would be pretty cool. Again, the question is more so how to add that functionality. How to add that functionality. If we go back to the transformation button here, can we also get mouse X? Mouse values, mouse X. So we can get the value and say, is X value this way or that way? And that will help be like, hey, is the mouse in the direction of this ability? If so, highlight that wheel. And then on release, we can say, execute the transformation if it's different from the current form. That's something we can do. Oh man, there's so much possibility here. Let me double check my notes before we go any further. Was there any other bug fixes that I was aware of that we need to fix? Fix collisions for boss fight and cinematic for boss death scene. Okay, so let's just quickly glance at that, make sure there's nothing critical going on there. If I remember correctly, I think this collision comment here comes from a glitch I found with the normal enemy types, because originally I had it to where, hold on, something just fell in my kitchen. Alright, well, I'm not entirely sure what fell. Maybe maybe something in the vents just clicked or something. I don't know. That was weird. Anyway, boss battle stuff, right? Let's go to the levels. Let's see. Let's make sure this all works first. And just to make this a little bit more fun to test, Model was freaking out for a second there. Oh, yeah, when I step away, the tracker still tries to find me instead of just dismissing the model. So it freaks out quite a bit. I don't know. I do have an alternative VTuber software that doesn't freak out like that, but it doesn't do the hand tracking thing, which I talk with my hands a lot, so I do kind of prefer this tracker for that purpose. Let me just sorry, I just want to check my phone real quick. Okay. Nothing there. I just want to check my phone because like if the sound I heard was my door being knocked because of a delivery, then that would have been nice to know. It laid down on the ground under the table and started having a body panic attack. Good news, that did not happen. I literally walked to the left and just peeked into my kitchen and the living room. That's all I did. I didn't do anything crazy like that. I'm fine. Okay, testing the boss. Let's just run it normally. Okay, to change my forms. Oh, I did not take out the boss's sound effects. Hold on. I refuse to listen to these sound effects. Enemy BP, boss BP. Let's see, his attacks are down here. Okay, the sounds are not there. There's the sounds. Just take those out. There's no other sound effect in here, right? Good. All right. I'm really happy with the cinematic, but I do think it can be better. All right. Keep falling for that. Oh, that was bizarre. Ow. Ah, I didn't dodge in time. Oh my god. Stop. Stop. I've never lost to this boss. I refuse to do it now on stream. Oh, that was close. Why is he freaking out when I... Oh god. No! Oh, what was that? Oh my god, why is he freaking out when I hit him? It must have to do with the event tick look at player function. Okay, so now that we've seen some glitches with the bosses, we can work this out. Let's start by seeing how the event tick function works for looking at the player. Alright, get actor rotation, find look at rotation, actor location, and player actor location, lerp it to 0.5, shortest path. If I uncheck that, will that make it smoother? That's the scary question. Alright. Okay, he reacts a lot better that way. Oh, and there he goes. Okay, it's got something to do with how his animations are queuing, it looks like. Let's see, if we go to his animations folder, they should all be facing the same direction. Okay, so that one's facing the right way. That's facing the right way. That one's a little bit off, but it's not that bad. That one's not bad. I have this boss special animation, but I don't think I actually implemented it. I just thought he was pirouetting away from the blows. No, dude, if I did animations that fancy, I would have broken my legs. I should find a way to implement this. We'll come back to that. Maybe it has to do with how he's getting hit, because I think that's what I meant by fixing his collisions. Apply damages up here. Movement mode walking. We set the knockback distance. We uncheck pending action. I'm not seeing... Oh, wait, here we go. This might be part of it right here. He's already doing this, so we don't need him to look at the player when he's getting hit. So I think if we just plug it in like this, that should fix the issue. That would mostly be a pose and rotating in a... You know, I don't think about animating in Blender until you say something, Awen, and I feel dumb every single time it happens. It's always like, oh, I gotta do this in mocap. I gotta twirl. If I bet my model will freak out if I twirl right now. Hold on, that'd be a fun test. Just. Oh yeah, no, that freaked it out. Oh man. All right, let's test if I fix the freak out issue here. Whoa. Okay. Ah. Okay, no, he's still pirouetting. I'm not entirely sure why. You mostly think in Blender? Of course you would, Awen. Alright, so I don't think it has to do with him getting hit, which is good. Spawn damage display. I'm not also trying to control his movement some other way, am I? Randomize appearance? Oh, that can all just go away. We don't need that. That's a holdover from when he was basically just the, oh my god, the words. Back when he was just a template of the basic enemy type. There we go. Okay, so these are executing way too soon. I need another delay here so that way he has time to rush the player and then attack. Because what he's doing right now is just, he tries to charge, but then he's told to attack at the same time. So if we change that, nope, he's still choosing to attack. Why are you attacking first, bro? Does he never rush the player? Okay, so something's goofed up with him. What if we disable this? Because I think at the end of charge, yeah, on success is attack anyway. So let's just, let's see what that does. Maybe only attack if players within distance? That is something I should implement. I don't think any of the enemies have that. Why is he attacking right away, though? That's what I'm confused about. Oh, you know what? I bet the game mode is automatically telling him to attack after a certain amount of time. No, that is not the case. Okay, what if I break this, just in case? There we go. Look at him. Look at him. He's so cute. Do it again. Oh, is he not going to attack now? Oh, shoot. I want to see you run. Is he not going to run anymore? Okay, that's not great. Okay, let's go back to our boss blueprint here. So, event begin play, he does his little intro animation, and then he does charge. He basically runs to the player character within 500 units, and then waits anywhere between 1 to 10 seconds. Maybe that's a little long. Let's do 1 to 5 seconds, and then he'll attack. First he checks, does he have an ongoing action? If not, then he'll choose between a light attack or a heavy attack. And set his movement mode to none. When his animation reaches the hit status, it'll spawn a particle system, do a trace, see if it hits the player. That might be why he's doing nothing, because if he doesn't hit anything, he gives up. He doesn't do anything. He's done. He gives up. We need to plug that in here. And we'll drag this up here. And that should, in theory... Very long attacks are usually 0.3 to 1 second. Oh, shit. Did not know that. Alright, buddy. I love his run animation. Okay, so let me be clear. That run animation is not unique. That's the same run animation that the player has for their mighty form. It's literally nothing new. Okay, he taunts. Oh, is he still not working? Oh, let me guess. I don't undo pending action, huh? Nope. Unless it's a Dynasty Warrior games, that's like 10-20, then they usually miss. Yeah. We need to set pending action to false at the end of this, I think. Pending action to false. Alright, for real this time. This should fix our boss. There we go. Now he's attacking more frequently. I'm not sure why he spins so much. What if I clamp? Oh, you can't clamp rotators? Really? Rotator. Select, invert, get rotator delta, combine rotators, broke routes into axes. He is absolutely combat pirouetting. Oh, 2 quaternion. Maybe? I don't think that's how that works. As much as I would like that to be how that works. Check shortest path. What if we do 0.25? Would that help it maybe be so fast we don't see much of it? Oh, I didn't dodge in time. Okay, that didn't quite help it. I'm not sure why he's having so much trouble. Get actor location. Oh, you know what? I bet it's because I'm not... Hold on. If I grab the enemy blueprint, the regular enemy blueprint, I bet I didn't do this. I bet I did something different. Because the enemies don't have this problem. Wow, that sure looks like the same exact thing. Okay. What if... get actor forward vector. Find look at rotation. And then just... Basically what this will do is say the actor's rotation is basically... This is what he's looking at the start, and this is where we want him to look at. I think. I hope. Rotation is usually in quaternion. Yeah, it is. But for some reason in Unreal, I've never had this issue with just regular rotators, so I'm kind of scared. But we'll try quaternions if this doesn't work. It's always good to learn things you're afraid of. Oh wow, that flinch sure was. What? What? What was that? Why were you flying? Hold on, hold on, hold on. What did I do? Launch. Oh shoot, that's why. Okay, let me break it down. Let me break it down. So the basic enemies, when you hit them, they also have this launch effect. But I was somewhat smart when I implemented this, because when you launch them... No, I have it here too. Okay, now I'm so confused. So what it's supposed to look like is you break this, split this, and split this. Because you don't want... Okay, because I don't want to launch them in the air. You use the launch values of X and Y. That is how that's supposed to work. So if we do this to the boss real quick, that should prevent him from just getting sent to outer space for getting hit by a light attack. As funny as that is, I don't have air combos, and having the enemy constantly fly away from you would kind of suck in a beat 'em up, I'm pretty sure. Alright, let's try this again. Okay. Ow. Okay, everything's borked now. Okay, so what are we getting borked about? Get actor forward vector, knockback distance. So what did I set the knockback distance as? Set it as negative 2,500. It's applied the same in the regular enemy. So let's set this back to normal. Get actor rotation. Interesting. Your force is being applied in an arbitrary direction and the value looks too high. The knockback value is actually... Here, hold on. The knockback value was actually set that way because lower values didn't make the enemy enemies move at all. So if I go back to level 2, you guys have the same values, so you can see they don't have the same issue, which is interesting. Oh, okay, that was straight up on me. So I'm not sure why the boss is having such a unique issue. Okay, let's jump back to level 3. Let's go through the apply damage one step at a time. Maybe we'll find something here. So, event any damage. Take your health, subtract it by the damage. What's his animation for hit react? He doesn't have one. Straight up, if his health is greater than 0, we should put this here. He just checks if he's dead or not. Like, he just gets knocked back. That's all that happens. It really shouldn't be causing such an issue. Actually, you know what? Just in case, let's give him a knockback animation. Let's do enemy hit react. I genuinely don't know which one it is. This one? Let's plug it in like that. Let's give it a whirl. Why is he T-posing? Hold on, did I actually grab the wrong hit animation? No, that was the right one. Why is he T-posing? Hold on, there's a way to find out why he's T-posing. Okay, the enemy hit react doesn't have any end condition stuff, so that can't be it. The boss does have an animation blueprint. Speed is greater than 0, he can run. Speed is equal to 0, he goes idle. Yeah, so there's literally no reason for him to T-pose like that, as far as I can tell. Just check for his speed. I was thinking the animation on the regular ones might be overriding the force. Maybe, because I did seem to fix his spinning. Like if we go back here. Yeah, he's not pirouetting as much. His mesh seems to be facing the right direction. I'm just not sure why he's T-posing all of a sudden. Oh, maybe because I'm using the wrong animation montage node. Shh. Play anim montage. Alright, plug that over here. And then just for safety, I'm gonna fix the defeat animation as well. Not that I think that'll cause any issues, but I'd rather not have any issues. Defeat. Here we go. He still looks like he's... Ah! It still looks like he's kicking my ass, but... He is pirouetting a little bit, but it's not nearly as bad. Root motion in Unity can cause things like that. Not sure if Unreal has the same. It very well might, but I'm not entirely sure. Let's save that. I'm trying to think. Let's go to his animations. 3D assets, animations, boss. And let's look at the boss idle animation. Interpolation linear, rate scale's fine. Allow frame skipping, use project settings for strip animation, additive settings. Enable root motion. Yeah, I didn't have that turned on because I kind of already used that in Blender, so we don't need to worry about that too much. If at all, really. That's set to 0.5. What if we just set this to 1? What does that look like? Wow, he's still doing the turnaround. Even though use shortest path is enabled too. I am using set actor rotation. Oh, that's the other thing I need to put in here. Make sure you're not dead. It would be very disturbing if you died and kept looking at me. Alright, here we go. Yep, he's still doing the turnaround. Alright, what is your problem, dude? Maybe making that an even number will help? I doubt it. I genuinely don't understand why he's pirouetting so hard. What if we set it to like, I don't know, 110 by default? It didn't help. Okay, good to know. Okay, so it's got to do something with his movement, probably. Let's see, ROT. Character movement settings. What if we say 355? Are you sure it's getting the right starting rotation for the lerp? I'm pretty sure it's... So the starting rotation is the actor's current rotation. And it's lerping to the player character's location. That's what it should be doing. And it seems to be working. Like, it is always looking at the player. It's just sometimes some of the animations just don't lerp correctly or something. It's very strange. I'm not really sure why it's only happening with the boss and not the regular enemies. Because the regular enemies don't have this issue. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what other stuff could be causing it. If I do teleport physics, whether we teleport the physics state, if true physics velocity, oh yeah, no, we're not doing that. Maybe the skeletal mesh has a collision setting that's wrong? Oh yeah, no, he's not world static. What the hell? Don't tell me the enemies are like this too. Why? Well, I guess that really shouldn't do anything. Query only? Maybe query only. No, he's set up correctly. This small little bug fix is turning into quite the adventure, isn't it? But they are not static. Yeah, I probably should not leave them as static. World dynamic. Then compile these. Save all. And then we'll test it. I doubt that's going to be the fix. But I want to believe. Alright, are you going to pirouette? Yeah, you are. Static is for things that do not move. That is correct. I don't know why they were set as static, especially considering their skeletal meshes, which is like the last thing that would be static, but who knows. Let me make sure that these collisions are turned off as well. No collision. Okay, so these are not getting in the way. That's the good news. Man, what would be causing it? I doubt the camera spring arm would cause anything, but never know. It looks like it's rotating 359 counterclockwise regardless of how close it is to the correct rotation. That's what it seems like. Yeah. Here, we'll just... What if we swap these values? That's wrong, but what if we swap these values? Oh, that's not great. He's facing the wrong way. Oh, he's running the right way, though. Okay, that did. I knew that wouldn't fix anything, but I wanted to try it. Okay, what do the enemies do when they stop moving? Go to charge. Acceptance rating's 500. That doesn't look any different than what I have the boss doing. Yeah, it's literally no different than what the boss is doing right now. Maybe skip the lerp? Yeah, maybe it's worth doing that. So maybe just do it like this. Usually that looks really janky in Unreal, which is why I don't do it, because I have tried that before. But who knows, maybe it'll be different this time. Oh, god damn it. Why? I don't understand. Here. Actor rotation. So there's only a couple options here. What if we do add actor world rotation instead? I don't think that's going to be the right answer, but it's something we can try. And then we can add this in just in case for testing. But let's first try just straightforward, set your rotation to look at the player. Where else are you rotating it? This is the only place I'm rotating it. If we go to the top here, event begin play, do your intro animation, wait 5 seconds, charge. You have AI move to the player, which, you know, now that I say that, that might be causing it. Let's do a little test. Let's test this first. That is not... What? Oh, wait, yeah, it is. Okay, first we're going to check if add world rotation does anything. I don't think it's going to be the answer, but we can at least try it. Jesus. Okay. That's not the solution. We'll make a new Boolean. We'll make it to where when he's charging, he's not trying to rotate. That's what we're going to try and do. So we'll make a new Boolean. We'll call it charging. And when he's charging, we set charge to true. And then when he's done charging, we set charging to false. That's literally it in terms of setting that up. All we need to do now is, are you not dead? And is charging not true? Let's see what that does. Why? Why are you like this? I don't understand. Okay, so that wasn't worth it. Why is he rotating like that? That's the strangest thing. What if we limit his rotation to 180? Nope, he still does a full 360. I'm not entirely sure what's causing that. It's very strange. And the fact that, you know, adding the lerp and shortest value doesn't fix it either is kind of crazy. Oops, did I do that wrong? Yep, still spinning. If you disconnect the rotation section, does he still spin? Well, let's try it. Disconnect the rotation section. Okay. Oops. Okay, he's just facing the wrong way. Really? Okay, so it's something with his movement. Why would his movement change? Where's your animation blueprint, sir? There it is. Okay, so if we gave him our run animation here, of which we only have one. It's not spinning there. Okay, hold on. There's another way we can look at this. Set our form to mighty, because that uses the same running animation. What the hell? What was that? Hold on. Save all. That was weird. Oh, he still spun. Yeah, now he's just not looking at the player. Okay, so it's not with the event tick, it's something with his movement, which I never would have guessed. So this is actually working as intended. Good to know. This is somehow not working. Okay, what does the enemy do when they move? AI move, pawn, get player character, target actor. It's literally not much nuance there. What is the boss's AI controller? It looks like the transition between movement and attack. There's a delay there, though. Here, disconnect this. Just have him walk to us. Are you gonna spin when you walk to us? Oh my god. The boss trigger is colliding with us multiple times, I think. Maybe what we'll do... I meant to set this as 0. We're running into so many issues. Hold on, let's write these issues down that we know of right now. We do know that the collisions are fixed, because that's not the issue. But we do know that the boss spins on hit and stop movement. Boss occasionally spawns twice? Okay. Deactivate the trigger after the first collision. That's kind of what it already does, so I think what I'm gonna try and do, just before the stream, I actually got rid of the enemy spawner trigger in the normal levels because I can just have the game mode say like, oh, at the start of the level, do that, instead of having it be done by a trigger. So maybe that's just something I need to do with the boss trigger volume 2. Oh yeah, no, it's like 0.25 seconds and then it starts, huh? Okay, so if we just do it directly. There's the cinematic, there's re-enabling the inputs, and then we don't need this because the boss controls himself. Okay, let's try that again. Okay. He still spawns twice? Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Get actor of class. Enemy spawner. Then we're gonna jump to that real quick. We don't need this because the boss commands himself when he spawns. Spawn boss. Then we get rid of this trigger. Interesting. And he still does his little twirl. Okay. So the boss trigger did start a cinematic. So where did that... There it is. May need to just add all this to the spawner. That should not be there. There we go. Anyway, let's take all of this, put it in the enemy spawner for spawn boss. Let's see how well that works. Other interesting thing, he spins clockwise at the start of moving and counterclockwise at the end. Ooh. So we might have some weird stuff going on here. Let's see, capsule component. Maybe the capsule component is rotated wrong. You can't rotate the capsule component. Okay, that makes it even more confusing. Walking, speed, analog, braking, speed while walking, walk off ledges, ignore base rotation maybe? Oh, I just saw him pirouette. He's gonna do it one more time. Yep, just to piss me off. Dude. What is your problem? Not seeing anything that would be so different from everyone else. Maybe turn this off, use controller desired rotation. Oh, he's still spinning at the start of his spawn. And then he pirouetted. He's gonna do it one more time. God. What if we do orient, move, rotation to movement? Oh, he just pirouetted again. Do it again, I dare you. Ah. What happens if you disconnect his movement? Let's give it a try. Did he just still spin? Well, we see he has no issues keeping his rotation with the player. So yeah, it's something with the movement. So what if... I don't know why sometimes this fixes it, but you delete the node that's causing you issues, recompile, then add it back in. Sometimes that fixes it, and I'm not entirely sure why that's the case. Okay, we saw him rotate there. He pirouetted again, and then he's gonna do it one more time. Get away from me. Okay, he does use an AI controller, so what if we take a look at that real quick? Event begin play. Does level equal start? If false, enemy parent is to charge. What if we disable that, right? I'm already getting all kinds of turnaround. Let's close some windows here. What if both movement and rotation are disconnected? Okay, let's do that. Disconnect this, disconnect this. Oh, you know what? I bet that initial spin is him spinning to the orientation of the enemy spawner. So if we just turn this back around, maybe that'll get rid of the initial spin. So we need to do 180. That looks wrong. Well, because 180 is wrong, but you know. Okay, so let's put this back around here maybe. Yeah, that's a good spot. Okay. So he's not spinning when that happens, which is good. AI move to world context object is not what I expected that to say. So putting move AI in the controller doesn't do anything either. Definitely movement being weird. Yeah, seems like it. But again, I'm not really entirely sure what else could be causing the movement to be so weird. I have one last ditch idea. I really don't want to do it, but we can try it to see if that fixes the issue. Which is to essentially rebuild the boss from scratch. So what we can do is start with the blueprint class, make it a character. If he was still rotating while both were off, that would mean it's being rotated elsewhere. Yeah. Boss 2. And then we'll just give him really basic stuff, just so we can see if it's all the same stuff. So let's give him the boss animation blueprint. Oh shoot, what's the scale for that? Oh, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh god. Okay. 0.025. That's tiny. 0.025. Oh man, I feel like I'm still gonna sneeze. Negative 90 rotation, we know that much is true. Minus 80 on the height. And then let's disable this, because I just want to throw him into the level and see what he does. Alright, let's give him some very basic stuff. Let's start with the event tick rotation thing. So, set actor rotation. Find look at rotation. Plug this up. Get actor rotate location. Make that the starting value. Get player character. Get actor location. And actually, just to make it a little quicker to test this stuff, because we've been kind of dragging our feet on it a little bit, we'll move him close to our spawn. Okay, that's a good start. Okay, so let's give him AI stuff. So if we go to AI, there's a couple things we need to set up. First things first, make sure he has the enemy AI controller. And make sure that this is set to auto-possess, placed in the world, or spawned. Oh. Oh, I'm gonna feel so dumb if that's what it is. This is not casting to the boss. This is casting somewhere else. Um, let's put this back to normal. What if we make the boss their own custom AI controller? Duplicate that. Basically copy this logic. Oh, not really, but those two errors at the bottom might have actually been the errors. Maybe. It's hard to say. Let's add a custom event here. We'll call it charge. Get the boss. Boss AI controller. We'll get rid of all of this and just say after a 3-second delay, cast to boss 2, get controlled on charge, and charge will just be an AI move too. Get a reference to self, get player character, and we'll set the radius to 500. All right, 1, 2, 3. He didn't spin, so now if we change this, cast to boss BP, get controlled pawn, just hook this all back up real quick. And then how long is that boss intro? I already forgot. I guess it doesn't matter. Let's add the regular boss. He does his intro animation, and he still spins. Why do you spin, dude? Literally, this guy right here, literally your clone, does not spin. Why are you cringe, bro? Oh, God. Did not want to spend my whole night on this. I guess we're gonna transfer all the logic and stuff over and see if anything changes. I doubt it, but it's worth a shot at this point. So let's get this stuff. Right, that's not gonna be, it's not that simple. We'll just grab this part, plug that in here. Then we need to make a custom event for his attacks and stuff. Custom event. Excuse you. Custom event attack. Excuse you. Oh, it's because my hand keeps hitting the mouse pad. Attack. And then attack is literally just this. Make sure we create that variable. Then we need lunge, because that's tied into the attack animation stuff. Custom event, lunge. Play from the beginning. We're gonna have to go in the animation blueprint and rebind where those animations trigger too. And who knows, maybe we'll find the solution there. So if we go to the event graph here, change that to cast to boss 2. Set pending action to true. Oh, heavy hit needs to be added too. Oh god, there's so much. Combo hit and heavy hit is what we need to add. So custom event, combo hit, and custom event heavy hit. Heavy hit. Cast to boss 2. Try get pawn owner. Set pending action to false. This is the lunge one, so we can just copy this and do lunge. Do combo hit here. And then finally cast to boss 2. And then before we get into the attack stuff, let's just see what he does. He's not doing anything because he's not told to do anything. First of all, OG boss, you're fired. Secondly, we need to make sure this triggers somehow. It should have been this. After 3 seconds, charge. But that doesn't seem to be working. So I wonder if I can just kind of unplug this and just do event begin play delay for, let's give ourselves 1 second and then charge. No, he spun again. He spun again. So rebuilding him is not gonna work, is what I'm hearing. That's a lot of time wasted. Oh, Unreal, don't you dare crash on me right now. Okay, so we're gonna have to just figure this out. Let me fix the animation stuff. Cast to boss BP. God, this is so annoying. Let me drink some water. Hmm. Really confused as to how this is all happening. Doesn't really make a lot of sense. I wonder, what if we just replace his run with a dash? That change anything? I doubt it, but it could, and that possibility is just interesting. Oh my god. Unreal? Thank you. Here, we'll leave that. I just want to see him run. Okay, so it has to do with the run animation. Something about the run animation is making him do 360s. Okay, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere good. I like that. Let's please let this be done. Okay, so let's replace that run animation with a different run animation then. Um, Run? Let's try the base form run. See if maybe that might be smoother for him. I mean, I'm glad it was simple, but we wasted like an hour on that. Oh, you're right. You were right the first time it went. It had to do with the root of the animation somehow. Man, that is intensely frustrating that we wasted that much time on that. But at least that's fixed and that's fixed. I should probably also add a entry space for myself here for today's date. Okay, today is the 29th. Let's go over some of the things we did. New features, there was none. Changes, I removed the trigger volumes in favor of game mode control of spawns. I'm hitting all the wrong buttons. Bug fixes. Fixed bug that had the boss spinning due to selected run animation. Fixed bug that had the boss spawn twice randomly. Although fighting two of the boss would be kind of cool as like a bonus thing. Anyway, what else did we do? I know we did some other stuff. I'm just spacing because that whole mess was way too much. Cast 2, boss BP. Gotta redo all this work. Set pending action to blank. So my music stopped. There we go. You can't hear it, but I'm listening to my own music. I muted the desktop so that way I don't get copyright struck for the things I'm listening to. Wait, did I just... Oh, never mind. Set pending action to true. Boss BP, set that to heavy hit. And I think that's everything. Okay, cool. The enemy boss controller doesn't do anything, so we don't need to worry about that. Guess we can delete this. Oh, right. Control save everything. Now delete this guy. Unreal? Thank you. Why did you close everything? Goodness. Okay, so let's get back into our game mode and re-hook up the boss spawning logic after we make sure this guy's not still in the level. Player blueprint, combat mode, here we go. You know what's something we also still don't have? We still don't have a main menu. That's something I need to do at some point. So, main menu. Okay. We can get rid of this because it's not in use. That's all fine. That's all fine. Okay. Let's just run the boss fight one more time just to make sure we don't have any additional issues, because that's what I'm most worried about. Alright, the cinematic is still working, so that's a good start. Oh, yeah, we forgot to reset the distance that he approaches the player. Whoops. Let's fix that real quick. And then we'll just add the quick logic of, you know, is he close enough to the player to attack? If yes, then attack, and if not, do something else. So get actor location, get player character, get actor location, get distance. Nope. Get length. Path start, path end. We're gonna need more space. Let's grab not you. Here we go. And then we'll just give him a little generous, like, is it greater than or equal to... Well, let's do less than or equal to. Less than or equal to, let's do, I don't know, 700 units? If the distance is less than or equal to 700 units, he'll attack, and if not, he'll charge again. Let's see what that looks like. That might be interesting behavior. Alternatively, could use the audio to a track not added to the VODs. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I probably could do that. At the same time, though, the music that I like listening to, dude, goodness sakes, is not exactly... I cannot get words out of my mouth today. The music I listen to is very action heavy, and it doesn't... It's more so to keep my brain going rather than set the mood. I do want to get some, like... I don't want to say calm music, because that's not the right description, but I'd like to get some decent music for the streams that are just kind of... not chill, but I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know what kind of music I want for the streams. Every time I think I know, I'm like, nah, I'm not quite happy with it. Okay, so we got that figured out. Now, I don't want the boss to be stun locked by the player, so we should disable that, which is up here. Literally just plug this straight in. I don't want the boss to be a pushover. Oh god. Oh god. I'm bad at video games. Oh. Dodge. No, I got punished. Okay, I think we need to move his montage triggers to be more in line with his movement. So let's do that real fast. Oh, we should add new feature. Boss only attacks when the player is in range. There we go. Charges if player is out of range. Give ourselves credit where we can. What I listen to tends to be more in the direction of Bury the... To be fair, though, Bury the Light, super motivational when you're in your lowest of lows. For me, there was a period of time where I would listen to, shoot, what was it called? It's from Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, which is not helping. There's a lot of songs in there that I could be talking about. Um, the only thing I know for real, I used to listen to that to get motivated last year. That was my get motivated song for a while there. It was great. Anyway, I already forgot what I was gonna do. Uh, I knew it. What was I doing in here? There was something I wanted to do with the boss. Maybe I need to fight him one more time to remember. Oh, right, he was sliding. His animations need to be tweaked. So if we go to light attack combo montage, combo hit, charge, combo hit, charge, combo hit. Let's have combo reset be here. Jetstream Sam and Virgil are peak motivation. Yes. Yes, I agree. There was I say was, he's probably still making stuff today, but there was a guy who would do extended edits of songs from DMC5 and Metal Gear Rising. And I don't think he did too much to tweak it, but it sounded really, really good. I would listen to those for hours at a time, even though they weren't that long. Okay, the heavy attack now needs to be tweaked. Heavy attack, heavy attack. Bring that like right towards the end here. Oh, I just had a funny idea. I don't I don't think it's worth pursuing, but hear me out. What if the boss had a transformation sequence before the fight? Oh, that was lucky. That could be cool. We can make a whole cinematic out of it. Oh my god, he's just going at it. Oh, right. That was the other thing I wanted to add. Hold on, real quick. Fix timing of boss animations to prevent model sliding during attack animations. I wanted to add a special attack. There was an animation we saw earlier. I want to implement that. I have one mashup of Nero and Virgil's songs that points out how insane Casey Edwards was with the songs. Dude, Casey Edwards was such a great artist. As an artist that's never left my mind, despite me not following the fandom anymore. Jeff Williams and Casey Williams from the Ruby soundtrack. Those two made some insanely good music, or at least music that gets me bopping. And if people disagree with me, that's fine. I just really love those songs. The Williams are great. Yeah, they were. They're so good. I don't know if anyone's been keeping up with the news, but when Rooster Teeth collapsed, a very popular anime and manga distributor named Viz Media actually bought the rights to Ruby. And they did say that they're going to work with the Ruby license, but we still don't know what that means. I can talk all day about how I felt about how Rooster Teeth handled the franchise, but so far, Viz Media have been doing some pretty cool stuff, like re-releasing all of the volumes with new Blu-rays and stuff. So that's pretty cool. Did you know that Casey Williams went off and made her own band? No, I did not. That's pretty sick. I'm glad to hear that she's stuck around for music, because she was pretty great. And that's kind of an understatement. She just was great. Let's add combo reset here. Oh, this is not a montage. I need to make this a montage. Create animation montage, boss, special montage. We're gonna add a boss super move. This is gonna be great. So we'll add a notify here for combo reset. Oh my god, there's so many cool things I want to do with this already. And I'm getting excited just thinking about it. So I want it to be cinematic, where like when he triggers it, it cuts to a camera angle of him just doing this. Winding up, cut to the player. Player gets control for a second. Ooh, that's a pretty tight window. So maybe right here is where the player gets control. Boss winds up the attack. Right here, we'll trigger the lunge. The band is Okay Good Night if you are interested. Hold on. I have my browser right here. I can bookmark one of their songs right now. Okay Good Night musical band. Oh wow, they're got a pretty decent following, 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. So far, some of their tracks already have 100k, 200k. Yeah, I'll have to check this out after the stream. I'll probably just put it on when I'm getting ready for bed. Thank you for letting me know about that. That's awesome. Genuinely awesome. Okay, anyway, boss super move. Similar vibe, but Jeff still has better lyrics. From my understanding, when it came to composing the Ruby soundtrack, Jeff did all of the music creation stuff, and then he had Casey perform. I think officially she was 14 when she did Mirror Mirror and Red Like Roses, which is wild to think about, that she was in a production that big, that young. Let's add another track here. So we want the collision to be here. Add notify special hit. So now we need to go to the animation blueprint to implement that. That is not the blueprint I wanted. Okay, guess we're gonna go blueprint hunting again. She was 12 when she sang in Spiral and Crazy Carolina is nuts. Dude, it's crazy out here. Every time I hear stories like that, I'm just like, I can't believe I waited till I was like 27, or not even 27, 26 to take game development somewhat seriously, considering I've been wanting to do it since I was at least 13. Here's a funny story. I don't think I ever talked about this, but um, I know I've talked about what inspired me to look into game development, but I don't think I ever talked about what my actual like first idea for a video game was. When I was in high school, um, or was I? Yeah, I was in high school. Um, Call of Duty was shifting from modern military to the sci-fi shooters at the time. You know, Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, all that. And I genuinely was like, I bet I could make a game where it's got all the best traits of the Modern Warfare series, but also all the best traits of the Black Ops series. And that was one of the first game ideas I wanted to work on, was a multiplayer shooter that combined the best elements of Modern Warfare and Black Ops. Specifically, Modern Warfare's gunplay with Black Ops class customization. Needless to say, that was stupid because even back then, it was like 200 people worked on Call of Duty every year. Like, there was no shot in hell that some idiot high school kid was going to match the quality or even build the mechanics with no experience. I didn't even like learn to do things properly. Like, I went on Roblox first and started like working on some like projects, and they didn't get anywhere. I tried remaking Call of Duty Zombies in Roblox at one point. That wasn't worth it. I tried to remake Left 4 Dead in Roblox. That wasn't worth it. Um, I did try to learn Unity. And by learn, I mean I went to the marketplace and just mashed assets together. It was ugly. I think the closest I ever got to actually learning game development during that time period was it was weird. So I might actually still I do have it. Hold on. Is it in my room or is it in a different room? I have this binder of this game concept that a high school friend and I had together. Asset store is the worst way to learn. Oh, dude, absolutely. I learned nothing doing Unity that way. Okay, I don't have the binder in my room, but when I was in high school, I had a crush on this girl, who was friends with me for pretty much all of high school. She loved dating sims, like visual novel dating sims, and I loved, character action games. And she said, "What if we combined the best of both?" And I was like, "Well, what do you mean by that?" And she said, "Well, what if we made a character action RPG where you can recruit companions to missions and develop relationships with them?" And the funniest part about conceptualizing that project is we came up with a story idea. That was cool, right? Um, we came up with a world, we came up with some of the characters, and she was like, "You have some writing experience." At the time, I was writing stories on Wattpad almost every single day. And she was like, "You have some writing experience. Maybe you can write the characters together." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I'll write the design document for the game. And the disappointment in her eyes when I came back to her after 2 weeks of just kind of like casual conversation, not talking about progress, just throwing ideas and spitballing. After 2 weeks of that, I came back to her with a design document and I was like, "Oh, check this out." And she looked at it and she goes, "It's cool that you got the whole combat system designed, but what about the RPG and dating sim aspects?" And I just stood there and I was like, "Oh, I forgot." Forgot about it. That project did get further than you would expect, though, I learned how to do animations in Blender that way. So that way I can make So you know the Titan animation? Here. Don't crash Unreal. Thank you. So let the boss do his thing real quick. But you know how the Titans animations are, cross, cross, middle? I actually made something similar by hand for that project. Um, and it didn't look great because I didn't understand how lower body contributes to sword combat. But it was really funny to see that working in engine. Um, Admittedly, on a Unreal Engine character asset that you can find for free. I think it was a character from the Infinity Blade pack. But learning how to export that skeleton to Blender and then animating it by hand and re-importing it to Unreal was such a cool thing to learn at the time. I learned a little bit about like different ways to make melee combat, but I didn't end up getting very far beyond that. Like eventually we just went our separate ways, and because the project was mostly inspired by, you know, visual novel romance and fantasy setting with melee combat, and the scope of the project just got really out of hand so fast. Like there was branching narratives. Like I think we got to a point where we had 15 planned companions, 13 of which had character design art. One was barely modeled, and we were going to have narratives that branch almost like 6 times in the first hour of the game. It was unsustainable as hell for a 2-person team and only 1 person working on the game. So I still have the design document, I still have the concept art, and I still have some of the script from the story. It might be fun to explore some of the design documents I did write for game ideas back in the day, because some of them I think I can do better now, but at the same time I just don't have an interest in those projects nowadays. Okay, I got so wrapped up in that discussion, I forgot how I was going to implement the special attack. So let me look at the animation one more time. So I want to have the cinematic go like that. So I think what we need to do is, I think the cinematic is stored in the boss spawner, so we can steal some of that logic. Not that one. This one. So we cast for the hero character, spring arm, disable input. Yeah, so let's do that. But instead of disable input, what we'll do... usually scope creep is a problem. You two, however, decided to scope sprint. Yes, we did. We scope sprinted so bad. But, I mean, again, it was a fun learning experience. It was just a matter of, learning about, bringing it back in a little bit, reining it in. Custom events, special attack. So instead of disabling the player's input, I think what we're going to do is just... Hold on, one thing at a time. Spring arm here, because now we're in the boss BP. We don't need to cast to him to get the spring arm. Then snap to target, snap to target. And then what we'll do is we'll set global time dilation. Sorry, not here. After we steal the player's camera. So maybe sequence. Get the player camera. Then set global time dilation to 0.1. And then set custom time dilation. I'm so glad we learned about time dilation in this project. It is such a cool thing to play with. And then we need to play anim montage boss special. Just had to face the wall, the extra mechanics. Yeah, seriously. So special attack, and then we go here, charge, special hit, combo reset. So we need to add a point here that lets the player gain their controls back. So maybe right here, we'll add another notify. Let's add a new notify. We'll call it player release. Anim notify player release. Special. Did I not make a custom event for when it hits? Oh, I spelled special wrong. Special hit. There we go. Oh, wrong one. Special hit. There we go. Player release, grab these. Go back to the boss BP. And then we'll add a little custom event down here that releases the player's input. So we'll call it player release as well. And then we just need to do this. And then get spring arm. And then just to make sure this is working, we'll replace his regular attack with that. So special attack. Break this. Let's see what that looks like. Alright, show me your best moves. Okay, you didn't release my camera? Why didn't you release my camera? Oh, because I didn't tell him to release my camera. Alright, let's try that again. Show me what you got. Cute. Let's give him a different spring arm for that angle, I think, is what we need to do. So we'll call this intro spring arm. We'll duplicate that. Special arm. And for this one, I think we need to have it here. We'll try it. Let's see what that looks like. Oh my god, that's so good. Okay, I'm happy with that. I don't like frame 1, but frame 2 kind of goes hard. Okay, player release is there. So now we need him to actually do damage. That's the next trick. Let's do spawn system at location. We'll copy all these coordinates right here. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna use punch. And then we can just... Oh, we need to spawn the effect after we hit the player. Okay. I basically only care about the collision animation at this point. So we can do this. Did I not click that in correctly? There we go. Break hit result. Make sure that we are getting the player character here. And then if true, get actor location. Or actually, instead of that, just get the impact point. Alright, let's see if that works. Why is it slow-mo? Why is it slow-mo? I don't think it's slow-mo on the regular hero character, is it? Now you got me curious, man. I'm gonna have to punch you now just to see. No, it's not slow-mo. Oh, that's why I forgot to reset time dilation. No! That makes a lot of sense. So if we go back to the boss, on player release, we need to set time dilation back to normal. It's kind of important that we do that. So give the player their camera back, set time dilation to 1, and set custom time dilation back to 1 as well. I didn't even think about testing if my player was moving slowly. I'm surprised I didn't think about that. Hey man, show me your moves. There we go. Cool. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't think of that. That's funny. And then let's make his make sure we apply damage and whatnot. So put that down there. Let's see, how much damage is he doing normally? 10 damage for heavy and 10 damage for light? Really? It's the same? Let's fix that. Make him really deadly. I can't believe I was getting my butt kicked and he was only doing 10 damage. That actually is kind of sad. Can drag this up here. So we need to set pending action to true down here. And then I think we also disable movement. Yeah, movement mode is set to none. And then we'll just see if that works as intended, and if so, we'll start actually implementing it into his regular combo wheel. Yeah. Um, why did his oh, because I have pending action set to false here. Okay, let's start implementing that into his actual combos. It's something I want him to do, but not very often. So maybe what we can do here, instead of a flip-flop, we can do a switch on enum if we set up an enumeration, which could be a fun way of doing it. So maybe we'll just set that up real quick and see what it does. So we need to go to the blueprint, enumeration, and do boss attack enum. And then we don't have to do much in this file. We just do 1, 2, 3, light attack, heavy attack, and special. Then we just go back in here, switch on boss attack enumeration, do a select, break this link, drop this down here, and then just plug these in, and then random integer in range. Now what's really cool about this system is we can technically just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. So we have, maybe we make light attack happen 3 out of 6 times, heavy attack 2, and then special is a rare case. And then all we need to do to make sure that happens is that the random integer is 0 to 5. So that means that every time he wants to attack, and he's not currently under attack, he will pick a number between 0 and 5. Then, based on that, he will do a different kind of attack. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. Let's do a little boss fight and see how he handles it. Oh, oh my god. What's your next move? Oh, he's gonna launch a special right away. He looks so satisfied with himself. Are you stuck? Yeah, he's stuck. So something about him finishing his special attack is getting him stuck. Set pending action to true, da 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 da. Release the player, da 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 da. Release the attack. Spawn an effect at hit location, damage the actor. Let's get rid of this delay. Once he's done attacking, he's just gonna reposition to the player. How about that? So I think charge already... That's not charge. Here's charge. Yeah, it already has a delay built in for when he rushes you, so... Let's just be rid of it. Once he's done attacking, he just charges. Alright, bring it on. Jeez. Is he okay? Wonder if there's no maybe something's wrong. Hold on. Attack. If you have a pending action, do nothing. Oh, and that's the end of it. Let's just do that. And then make sure that his special attack does have a combo reset. Combo reset does untick pending action, right? Yes, it does. Okay. Here we go. Starting to think I should reduce his knockback. Oh. Okay, hold on. I just had an idea. His push is invisible. And I kind of... It feels wrong considering his light attack and heavy attacks are visible. So what if we just add a particle effect before that? The real question is, which one do we use? System. Grab these. Yeah, that's how that's set up. What if we use the gunfire one? That could be interesting. Oh god. Are you gonna use your special? Oh, don't tell me you got yourself stuck again. Oh god, he tricked me! Alright, good to know. I probably just need to reduce the delay between his... He's gonna kill me before I can test if his special is working. I should just make his special the go-to. My god. I don't think I have a I think I've only let my character die twice during the development of this game, so I don't want it to test the death here. I just want to see the special attack. There we go. That didn't look right. Oh, because 650? Okay. What about 150? And then let's make special attacks his go-to real quick. Hmm. Not bad. I feel like it can be so much more, though. What if we scale it up double its size? After this test, we'll have to call it, but like... It's getting interesting. It's getting interesting. We'll have to look into it. What else did we do with that? Oh, we added a special move, so... Added boss special move. Cinematic. We added some particles to that as well. Plus... Particles. Definitely want some atmospheric effects in levels. You know what? I'm gonna do it real quick while I'm still thinking about it. Because it would be cool if you can see the time stop because a particle effect made it visible. So if we go to the Niagara system, I was messing with this yesterday, so it's hanging particles. Here we go. If we drop this in the level like this, makes little dots. So if we were to enhance the radius of those, we could have a lot more things in the level to help show that time is stopping. So there's a radius somewhere in here. So what if we set that to, I don't know, 1,000 across the board? It's not bad. It's not selling the effect as much as I liked. Maybe I'm thinking of the... Oops. Maybe I'm thinking of the blowing particles. Niagara system, blowing particles. See if we go in here. Oh. Excuse me. I think the nav bounds got messed up when I accidentally deleted something. Build paths. Oh yeah, that adds so much. Okay, so we'll need to work on that tomorrow. Yeah, we'll work on it tomorrow. So, and I say we. I'm not streaming tomorrow. The next stream will be on Saturday. I've got a lot of things to do this week that aren't directly tied to this game. Or at the very least, the time I will have to work on this game is going to be very limited, not worth a whole stream, so... Saturday it is. Um, Hope you all enjoy your week. Hope to see you on Saturday, and I'll catch you all later.